to see you guys. Thanks for being here. We've got a shortened week, obviously, and huge for our program to get the last win on the road on bouncing back from 2 weeks ago. Is good to see our kids respond. We challenged them to start fast in the game, and I thought in all three phases, offense, defense, and kicking, we were able to do that, which was important. And then, at the half, when we had the big lead, the next challenge was out there to go finish the game the way that we needed to. We needed to start fast again. And what that looked like, was certainly excited about the growth we made as a team. And then quickly after the game was over, they were very direct in a mature approach on moving on from that win, and let's get ready for a short week against a really good opponent. And so I think we're in a good spot right now for the health of the team. We understand how important this week is and the preparation that it's going to take. In losing a day, off the calendar on playing on a Friday night, we're excited about playing in Allegiant on Friday night in Vegas. And I know that the fans will turn it into a great home field advantage for us. We're going to prepare really well this week. I think there's certainly ways on all three phases that we can play better, and we're going to need to down the stretch of November. So the health of our team physically, we're about as good as we can be at this point. We'll get Dre Williams back today out at practice this evening and see how he looks. Being back doesn't mean he's game ready, but he may be. We'll know as the week goes on. So that'll be exciting to see how that plays out. We'll take it a day at a time. And from last week's game in New Mexico, we didn't have any injuries. So fortunate in that regard as well. And I think a lot of that goes into the off-season training. It goes into the strength and conditioning with Jeff Fish. And then our kids have done a great job in rest, recovery, hydration, nutrition, fueling their bodies for the stretch, for the run, and what that looks like. So we're learning every day and still the pursuit of what we need to do to play our best ball. We haven't done it yet. That's our focus on how we'll approach. We moved our practice to the evening this week for a number of reasons. One, we needed more time game planning from being away from home, late arrival, getting back home. I thought our kids needed some more rest. It's a 7:45 kick, so really the approach on getting your body in position to activate and be ready to go at that time of the day. You're sitting around the hotel with no football on Friday to watch on TV. So it's different than a night game on Saturday in those regards. So we're doing a little bit of different, still the consistency of the program is there, but within our practice structure, but our week looks a little bit different. In our world, today is Tuesday in the way that the practice format falls. So it'll be a great Tuesday practice for us, and then we'll continue to strive to be the best team we can be.
Coach, the depth of this team, can you just talk about it? I know it was probably a concern at the beginning of the season, but are you pleased at the way that the depth has paid off for the program and have players grown within the program this season?
Well, I think guys have, with injury or competition or whatever it is, they've stepped up when their number has been called. You always know that you're never going to, whatever you think your starters are going to be week one, that's going to change. It could change play two of that game. That those things happen throughout the course of the year. So one of the reasons that we had the practice structure we did during fall camp is getting everybody on the roster exactly the same amount of reps with the same calls, because we're only going to be as good of how many guys can we get ready to go play winning football. And the more guys that we've got on the bus, so to speak, that can do that, then the better our team's going to be. So we know that year, age, experience, lack of none of that matters if your number is called. We have to be really good teachers in getting them in position to play winning football. And, a number of guys have stepped up in a lot of different roles that maybe you look back 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, you wouldn't have anticipated that, but also the development of them in the program, they continue to get better and their practice habits continue to improve, and they get in position that they can go help us win.
You talk about moving on from a win. Every place you've been that has won, is that a mindset? Like, how do you teach kids to move on and not kind of stay in that moment of winning?
Yeah, you better move on really quickly, and for us, we needed to move on as soon as we walked out of the locker room Saturday night, because if you ever take a breath, you ever relax, that there's somebody waiting around the corner to knock you off, to beat you. So the mindset of how good can we get, and I said it a number of times, and it's a sprint with no finish line. You've got to get there, and the clock is always ticking. And as soon as you want to sit back and read your press clippings, you're going to get embarrassed. You're going to get exposed. So the urgency of what that looks like, are we celebrating success? Absolutely. But you're learning from your experiences more than you are celebrating a win. And the good, the bad, the ugly, you've got to correct it, learn from it, apply it, and then it's a race to get to game day and how good can you get the team and understand the game plan of the week. And, especially in November, the time just flies. I mean, it's just, it for whatever reason, now you're a Tuesday practice of week 10, and we got a lot to do.
Coach, Ricky White named Offensive Player of the Week. We saw, on social media this morning that you guys are 5th in the nation in third down percentage. How much is Ricky White, only improving this week and each week in your program?
Yeah, he's been a huge playmaker for us, been a great leader. His habits and practice align with what he does on game day, and has become more vocal, and he's experienced, he's mature, and I think a terrific player. I think he's one of the elite receivers in college football. He continues to make plays. The one the other day, down the field that went over the guy and came up with the ball, that was a huge play. But maybe in my mind, the 2 on third down that he had caught close to the sticks, was able to get the first down. Those were just as big. So he's coming up big for our team. He's also a big part of our return game and punt return, because he's on the punt return unit up front, does a terrific job there. His ability to block out in space on the perimeter run support, and how he is able to spring guys free, and his effort on how he plays without the ball, all those things go into the complete player that he is.
When you talk about his practice habits being strong, any examples, or what does it mean when someone's practicing?
Well, it looks the urgency, the movements, the speed looks just like game day, and the understanding of whatever those habits are, that's exactly what you're going to get on Saturday. So he's taking that personal, and whether it's one-on-one routes or it's blocking during individual periods or whatever the specific drill that he's working on, he looks like he's on a mission to be his best. It's exciting to see.
Coach, big night for the Odom family on Friday night. You've got UNLV playing, but also your son is playing some championship football on Friday night. How's that going to play out in your household?
I have no idea. It'll be busy. We've got a great, I look at our family, really, really blessed, because they're healthy and they're happy, and they understand these moments that you don't take them for granted. You've got an opportunity that, that's something that we'll look back some year and, but that was fun. It was a fun time. I haven't had a conversation on, I know that, my wife and daughter will be at our son's game, and then our other son's a freshman linebacker for our team. So there'll be plenty of opportunities for great celebration.
Can you talk about some of the deep shots you hit in the game? 1, Maya's ball placement, and 2, time, deception on the play.
Yeah, I think number one, we ID'd what they were in defensively, coverage-wise. Were able to make a play call by formation, knew something tendency-wise going into it, which was really good game planning by our offensive staff. Our kids understanding it. We had completed them throughout the week in practice, more times than not. We wanted to loosen it up a little bit because they were crowding the safeties down and thought we had an opportunity to get behind them. And then the ability with the run fake, were we able to do enough speed-wise to get behind them, and then could we protect because we knew they were going to bring pressure out of that look also. So a number of different things that went into it to be able to complete the ball. Great placement, great route, great protection, and then to be able to complete the pass. It took repetition throughout the week, but then also they had to go execute at a high level, and they did. And I think the ball placement was really good. Receivers made good catches, but we also had great protection up front, starting with the play call.
How important was it for you to get those kind of plays on film for maybe opponents to prepare for, to know that you're capable of that offensively?
But you know how it works together. You've got to, if they're giving you those things, you better be able to take advantage of it. And, we've been able to do it at times this year. We haven't been real consistent with it, but I think, the timing, the understanding, working together, we've gotten a little bit better every week, and we'll be better this week coming up than we were last week.
Coach, 2 weeks on the road, you're back at home, you're undefeated at home. What's the excitement like this week to host Wyoming?
That's a big deal for our kids, for our team. We've talked about it, we got to win at home. And in the month of November, you better win at home. And the next opportunity for us, a Friday night game in Vegas, I can't imagine anywhere else you'd want to be, honestly. And so we'll prepare really, really well this week. We'll be excited to go play against a great opponent, and we'll give them something to cheer about.
You mentioned the short week. I guess what is kind of your thoughts on preparing for a short week? How do you kind of approach that?
Yeah, we've got a really good plan on my experiences before that's worked. And, every team's different, but I think it's going to work as far as what we'll find a way to gain some hours and what our team needs. And for our staff, there is no clock. It's we know we got to be ready and prepared and have our best game plan ready for Friday night. So I'm excited about what our staff has done between when we landed Saturday night and right now. Now the opportunity to continue to prepare until the time the game is kicked off. I enjoy opportunities like this. It's fun building a game plan of the week. It's exciting preparing your team, and some of that goes into the hunger of the group that you're coaching. They've embraced it. They want to be really good. They understand that what the week looks like and for us and what the preparation needs to be. And my guess is it'll be our best Tuesday practice of the year tonight.
Coach, can I ask what time you guys are practicing this week?
Period one will begin at 7:45, just like Friday night's kickoff.
On these big returns, obviously there's good blocking. Did you see anyone on film this week, or a couple of guys who really did a good job blocking?
I thought we did a nice job on the outside on at least, Thomas Anderson on one side, Walden on the other. Two guys, that on one return for sure, they held up their guys on the outside that were able to. Usually that's where your first initial threat is from, on either having to fair catch it or play it clean and get a return. You've got to get yourself a little bit of time, and they did throughout the game. Also, inside one of their rollout punts, Fred Tompkins had a chance. He was so close to blocking it because he had really good get off on the snap and was able to read which direction it was going, and he was inches away from getting a block. So those three areas really on the outside and then pressure inside on one of our blocks, I think helped us as the game went on in what they were trying to do protection, and then we were able to counter with a holdup on the line of scrimmage, and again, you look at, it was pretty cool to look after it was over. There's drills that we do every single week in our punt return unit on the individual time that we get for that, and it looked just like it did on Saturday, on the techniques, on the line of scrimmage, down the field, the techniques that you use, and then you get within, certain yards of the returner, what then you've got to transition into. And some of it, I know Coach Shivas will use as a clinic tape, because they did exactly the carryover from the week in practice, looked exactly like a game day rep. So it was exciting to see our kids end up taking that, what their tools were and are, and then applying it in a real life game situation.
On that punt blocking unit, you mentioned Ricky White as a blocker there. Is that, in your experience, unusual to have a guy who's, around the top 10 in receiving yards nationally to be blocking? What does that say about his mentality that he's out there, willing to do it?
No, I think, special teams is, if you're a starter on special teams here, that's a big deal. And, if you're going to take a play off, it's not going to be on special teams, it's going to be on offense or defense. So that's the culture on what we have. Jackson Woodard is a starter on kickoff return. He's a starter on punt. And, he's a very, very productive all-conference linebacker. So everybody on the program understands how important special teams are. And it doesn't matter, starter, we're going to get our best guys out there.
Coach, Jaden had freshman of the week again. Could you describe what you've seen in him in terms of growth from the start of the year?
I think he's played better each week with the experience and the reps that he's gotten. I think his reads have gotten better every week. I think this week particular was able to connect on, we saw a deep ball early on against Vandy that he connected with in a crucial situation, and he continues to elevate in those areas of his game as well. I think the timing with the offense, he's in flow. And then the leadership of what that position needs to look like, he's grown in that role every single week.
You guys have some new starters listed on your depth chart in the secondary. What have Trenton and Ricky kind of done to kind of claim those spots this week?
It'll be that's the depth chart for today, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. But those guys continue to get better and play at a higher level in games and through those reps. And again, it'll be by committee. We've got to play a number of guys in a number of different spots. But Mark reminds me each week on Sunday night, hey, what's your depth? And I apologize. I don't. We got to get a whole bunch of guys ready to go play, and that could look completely different on who's out there on the first snap of the game. Then it all depends on the competitive spirit of what the week looks like and who has performed at the highest level to get ready to go play winning ball. And going in today, that's what it'll be today, and I'm excited about the progress that they've made for sure.
Any updates on Jonathan Baldwin?
He will be still out of today's practice. We will have a staff meeting later on today to go through the medical report, but he won't be able to go through a full practice today.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Kaleo, talk about, the integration of the tight end position and now catching passes with the team, how that all happened.
Well, with Coach Marin's offense and moving throughout the season, just getting more confident with the offense, showing up in practice and getting those reps in have really made us more confident as a group. So, it shows up in practice, and we're more confident in securing the game to move sticks, get first downs, just be ball catchers.
Were you asking for the ball?
It's always great to get it, so, yeah.
You've also been able to make some really tough catches in traffic and holding on to the ball in those critical situations, 3rd and 4th downs, and also absorb some hits. What has your health been like, and how does it feel to get back to healthy and be able to contribute down the stretch?
Yeah, just staying out the training room by, getting in before practice, rolling out, getting loose. that really helps in, being able to take hits week after week. And those catches through contact is what we work in practice and individual drills. So it's in the game, it's just working what we did in practice, and it translates to that.
Kaleo, Jaden was named Mountain West Freshman of the Week, third time this season. You talk about the confidence of this offense. What confidence are you seeing from Jaden?
He's since the jump always been willing. He's not scared to throw the ball. In the offense, we always say like he'll do anything like just to get the play going. He's not he's not afraid to make a play, and it's shown in the game that he'll throw the ball anywhere just to get move the sticks, just get the ball moving.
For both of you guys, just how do you kind of approach this short week?
Yeah, it's the same mindset. Our goal is to go out there and win, and we know what that takes. It takes coming in each day, watching film. And then with the short week, you obviously have to do more. Coach says, we're going to find hours, and we're finding hours. We're doing extra. And then practice, it's Tuesday practice today. It's going to be a physical practice, just like any other week. So, you take the same mindset. You just have to do a little extra work.
Yeah, just coming in and doing something that's a little different, but something we're used to. It's football. Football is football. It's what we do. Yeah, coming into this week, we just have a different practice schedule, but we're going to get it done.
For either or both of you, your coach talked about like the mindset of winning, moving on, win a game, move on. You're in this program that hasn't happened a lot, but this year it has. Can you talk about how easy that is, or how, to stay in the moment of a win, for how long you stay in that moment?
Yeah, winning's the ultimate goal. Winning's everything. And so when everyone in the locker room's on that same mission, that same goal, you obviously celebrate the win in the locker room. But as soon as you get back, you're hungry for another win. And that feeling that you get right after the week or right after the game in the locker room, you want that feeling. And so, you come in on Sunday, you stretch, and it's the start of a new week, and we're on the same mission to go win that week.
Yeah, it's quick. After winning after a win, just feeling good in the locker room, that next day you come in and it's on to the next, just prepare for the next team and let it feel good, but we all know we have a mission to complete.
On that same note, what's been the biggest change mentally among the team to be able to bounce back from losses?
Bouncing back from a loss, it's the same mindset. Win or lose, there's a new opponent the next week that you can't dwell on the win or loss from the last week, and you just got to prepare for the next opponent.
Jackson, Jet almost had a scolding score on the road this weekend. What impresses you about his growth each week?
I think it's his practice habits. He comes in, he's level-headed. He's the same each week, and then he's also confident in what he's doing. Jet's a phenomenal player. We see it, week in and week out. But that was a huge play. We were messing with him. He's got to get in the end zone. Can't be getting knocked down. But he's a phenomenal player, and he practices like he plays, and that shows. We practice when the ball's on the ground, scoop it up, no matter if it's a drop pass or whatever it is. You never know. And he was right there, and he saw the ball, picked it up, and went for the end zone. So, yeah, he's just an incredible player, and it was an incredible play.
What do you think about Coach Odom moving to practice at night? How does that only help the team this week?
Yeah, it helps in many reasons. One, it helps us recover. We get almost an extra day, really, to get our bodies back, but also prepare. This morning we came in, watched film, and so you get an extra, because, normally you don't watch film before Monday practice, but this is technically our Monday practice. And so we're coming in, we're able to watch film before we go out and practice, and that gives us, a big jump on, our opponent.
Jackson, Barry was in here talking about you playing on the return units.
Yep.
Close to breaking a couple this week. What has to go right to get big returns like that consistently, like you guys have done this year?
Yeah, well, special teams is everyone, all 11 guys have to do their job for it to work, more than, offense and defense, I think. It's almost a one-on-one matchup for every single player on the field. And we know we have a special returner in Jacob De Jesus. He's a phenomenal player, one of the best returners in the nation. And we know if we can just do our job, he's going to make a big play. So I think it's, huge. It's an honor to play on those teams. And yeah, it just takes you doing your job, and then we got a heck of a player behind us, and we know what he's going to do.
And there's a streak here where it's been, more than 20 years since they had a punt return touchdown. You came close a couple times last week. Are you guys just like aching to get one this year?
For sure. And obviously Jacob is too, and he knows it. And it's going to come sooner than later. He just got to get that boost behind him, the extra 5 yards. I mean, I feel like he's not the 5-yard line every time. But he'll get one. We're sure of it.
Jackson, you guys are undefeated at home. I think Wyoming hasn't won on the road yet. How important is it to kind of maintain that home field advantage?
Yeah, well, playing at home, it's our house. We take pride in that. Every home game, every game we obviously take pride in wanting to win, but especially at home, our fans are there to support us, to create that home field advantage. And so we're going to do everything to protect our place and win that ball game.
Jackson, who's the most physical offense you've gone against, and from what you've seen on film with Wyoming, how do they compare?
We've gone against a lot of physical teams. I think, the team last week, they were physical. Their line was coming off the ball. They were a physical team. Obviously, Michigan was very physical. Fresno was very physical. But, Wyoming, they're a physical team, like you said. They got a lot of players that do things right, and then, like you said, are very physical. They're going to want to run the ball, and so it's going to be up to us to stop it. But yeah, they're a physical team. I've seen that on tape.
Kaleo, could you talk about how sort of your mindset has shifted as a tight end as regards to blocking with the offensive line, becoming sort of the sixth offensive lineman? Coach Odom was very complimentary of you at the point of attack on a lot of blocking schemes.
Yeah. It's just, being confident and working with the O-line as we do in practice, getting the communication down, and, being at that point of attack is for us, we take a lot of pride in it. And, being able to do all things in the offense is catching balls, point of attack blocking, backside blocking, perimeter blocking, all the things that make up, the tight end position is we take pride in that stuff. And yeah, being on that point of attack blocking is, essential to how we move the ball in the run game. And we like to run the ball a lot, but then we like to pass the ball a lot. So yeah, just being able to do it all.
Jackson, talking about Wyoming, they have a couple of tight ends that are really impactful in the passing game as well to complement that physicality. As a linebacker, what do you do to prepare when you know you've got a tight end that's a potential receiver downfield?
Yeah, their tight ends are very good, as we've seen. I think it's the same approach that you take any team, whether it's a receiver or a tight end. It's obviously just a bigger body, so whenever you get to them in pass coverage or really anything, you just have to take them on differently than you would take a receiver. And then when they're in the box, you just treat them like offensive linemen. But yeah,